Hello and welcome, my friends, to another heartwarming story that will stay with you long after it ends. Let me ask you something. Have you ever opened a box that changed your life forever? Today, I bring you a story that whispers secrets of love, sacrifice, and the small things that make relationships last. This is The Wedding Box, a tale of a young couple, a mysterious box, and a lesson in love that we often forget in our busy lives. So sit back, relax, and let your imagination open the lid of The Wedding Box. Part 1. The Beginning of Love. Once upon a time, in a little town surrounded by green hills and blooming gardens, there lived a girl named Emily. She was kind, quiet, and full of dreams. She loved books, rainy mornings, and the smell of old paper. Across town there was a young man named Daniel. He was charming, full of life, and always ready with a joke. He worked as a carpenter and loved building things with his hands. One day, fate brought Emily and Daniel together at a friend's wedding. He offered her a slice of cake. She smiled shyly. Their eyes met. And just like that, something magical began. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and soon love bloomed like a rose in spring. They were so different, one quiet, one loud, one organized, one messy. But they found joy in their differences. One day, under a sky full of stars, Daniel got down on one knee and asked Emily to marry him. Emily whispered, "Yes," and just like that, their journey as husband and wife began. Part 2. The Gift. On the day of their wedding, Emily's grandmother gave them a small wooden box. It was old but beautiful. There was a ribbon tied around it and a little tag that read, "Open only when you believe there's nothing left." Emily looked at her grandmother in surprise. "What's inside, Grandma?" she asked. Her grandmother smiled and said, "That, my dear, is not just a box, it's a reminder. Use it only when the time comes." They thanked her, a little confused, and placed the box on a shelf in their new home. And then real life began. Part 3. Life after the wedding. The first year of marriage was sweet. Breakfasts in bed, silly jokes, midnight dances in the kitchen. They were best friends and lovers. But as time passed, little things began to change. Daniel worked long hours. Emily felt lonely. She would wait for him with dinner, but he often came home late and tired. Sometimes they argued about dishes, about money, about nothing at all. One night, Emily cried herself to sleep. And the next morning, Daniel left without saying goodbye. They loved each other, yes. But the spark had faded. The silence between them grew louder, and slowly their hearts began to drift. Part 4. The Fight. Then came the night of the big fight. It started with something small, dirty laundry on the floor, but soon words turned into weapons. "You never listened to me." "Well, maybe because you never stopped complaining." "This isn't what I dreamed of when I married you." "Maybe you should have married someone else then." The room went quiet. Emily sat on the floor, shaking. Daniel stood by the door, breathing heavily. They had never felt so far apart. And then Emily remembered the box. Part 5. Opening the box. In silence, she walked to the shelf and picked up the wedding box. Daniel watched her, confused. She sat on the floor, untied the ribbon, and slowly opened it. Inside were two notes. One had Emily's name on it. The other had Daniel's. There was also a little bottle of bath oil and a packet of popcorn. Emily picked up her letter. It said, "Dear Emily, if you're reading this, then times must be hard. Marriage isn't always easy. So before you give up, do something kind for Daniel. Run him a warm bath. Make his favorite snack. Love is built in small moments." Daniel read his letter too. It said, "Dear Daniel, if this box is open, it means your love is hurting. Stop. Say something kind. Dance with her. Remind her of the day you first met." They looked at each other, tears in their eyes. And without a word, Daniel walked to the kitchen and made popcorn. Emily filled the bathtub with warm water and dropped in the oil. Later that night, they danced in the kitchen, just like old times. Part 6. What the box really meant. The next morning, Daniel asked Emily, "Why didn't we open it before?" Emily smiled, "Because we didn't believe there was nothing left until now." The box didn't fix everything overnight, but it reminded them of something important. Love is a choice, every single day, and sometimes the smallest gestures make the biggest difference. They decided to rebuild, one kind act, one thoughtful word at a time. The wedding box was placed back on the shelf, not to be forgotten, but to be remembered. Not as a magic solution, but as a symbol of hope. Dear listener, maybe you have a wedding box in your heart too. A quiet reminder to be patient, to be kind, to hold on when things get hard. Love isn't just made in grand gestures. It's made in the way you say good morning, in making someone a cup of tea, in choosing to stay when it would be easier to leave. So ask yourself today, what small act of love can you do for someone you care about? And remember, sometimes the key to happiness is already in your hands. You just have to open the box. Thank you for listening to the Wedding Box. Until next time, stay kind, stay hopeful, and never stop believing in love.